Hello and welcome to Computing's IT Leader Interview Series. I'm here with Jacob Abboud, the CIO at Allianz Insurance. Jacob, what's top of your agenda right now?
I would say probably about half a dozen things. Digital transformation remains a focus, getting us to become digital by default. What that means to us is around optimized customer journeys, in fact, streamlining the digital interaction to ensure that it's as effective as possible to support the customer in our partnership with brokers. Also means data and insight from the data. It means building the infrastructure for the future. It also means operational efficiency through robotics perhaps and automation, looking at building digital workplace technology to enable our people, and looking at a different way of working together rather than kind of the old-fashioned siloed ways of working, bringing people together, cross-functional teams, empowered, co-located, using new technology, DevSecOps, to deliver those outcomes.
Yeah.
I'd say the second thing on my list would be back to data, insight, analytics, technical excellence. The third would be, we're very excited about the joint venture with LV, which we announced at the back end of last year. So we're working with our colleagues in LV to leverage the LV brand in personal lines with our strength in the commercial insurance space to become one of the top 3 GI businesses in the UK. Another item on my list, quite an important one for me, is IT and business transformation. So this is about getting rid of legacy, focusing our investment on the future rather than the past, looking at productivity and focusing on cost optimization within IT. No list is complete without information and cybersecurity, so that's quite important. So we need to bolster the kind of our defenses for prevention. We need to ensure that we can detect any breaches and be able to respond to them. And there's been quite a lot of investment in my organization focusing on information and cybersecurity, from capabilities like data loss protection, heuristic analytics, looking at the next gen firewalls, or looking at advanced threat analytics capabilities. And I would say innovation and emerging technologies, that's really important on my agenda. I see myself as the champion to bring in new emerging technologies, to be able to test and learn whether they are the right things for our organization, and if they are, then bring them into the mainstream and scale them up. And I guess finally I would say, of course, we need to continue to be compliant and legal and all the rest of it. So there's all the regulatory projects and programs like GDPR and IDD and sanctions and a few others which we clearly need to get done.
But what are your particular plans or your particular projects that you're focusing on, especially at Allianz this year?
Well, I think to some extent on all of them. I think we have got the appetite to start looking at our IT and business transformation. So that's something we're looking at right now. We are investing in becoming a data-driven, data and insight-driven organization. That's particularly important. We are progressing our agenda in terms of digital transformation in a number of different ways. We are implementing GDPR and the other regulatory programs, and we've got particular focus on running IT as a business, looking at cost optimization, ensuring that every pound we spend in IT is delivering the right value to the organization.
And one of those projects, I believe, is a data center consolidation program.
That's right. So we've embarked as a group. I mean, Allianz is a group operating in some 80 different countries. We have embarked on building the digital infrastructure for the future, whether that's driven by the Allianz Global Network or looking at consolidating some 140, 150 data centers down to about a dozen data centers around the world, looking at using private cloud as well as public cloud, or a hybrid cloud to some extent. And that's really important too. It's a big investment for us as an organization, but it underpins our digital strategy going forward and makes sure that we've got the right technologies, whether that's in data centers or networks or workplace technologies, to enable our people and to enable the organization to operate effectively in a digital way.
Now, you mentioned GDPR, and that's something that's been packing out computing conferences for the last year or so. I'm wondering how prepared you feel with regard to GDPR. Are you ready?
Well, as the deadline approaches, the 25th of May this year, we're striving to make sure that we meet all the requirements of GDPR. But as a customer-centric organization, the protection of our customer data is paramount to us. So we've got the right processes, the right systems, the right controls to ensure all the data in our possession is safe and secure. But we started a program about 12 months ago to look at the additional requirements of GDPR to ensure that we can meet them. So as an example of that, we've got UK policies detailing the standards, if you like, for information retention and destruction to meet the business requirements, but as well as that, the data regulations requirements. The retention period will be different depending on the type of data, depending on statutory and regulatory requirements and reporting and other factors. And when we talk about